Hey, welcome to the only podcast that has a shock drop every single day of the week, except for the days of the week that we don't. I'm Travis, and I'm here with Jen. How you doing, Jen?
I'm good.
A little inside before the show joke. Jen just tried to get some shoes, and she couldn't get them. It is what it is.
I couldn't. All the sneakerheads. I definitely missed the Jordan 3, the black cement.
Sounds awesome. And for those who don't know, those things are really hard to get. If you, like she said before we get on, I hate to expose you on the chat, but you're like,
you can expose me.
I was 15 seconds too late. Think about that, everyone who doesn't understand sneakers. 15 seconds too late for an order. That's insane.
If I do get them, though, I will scream because it like pens. It takes like 15, I don't know, sometimes it takes like 15 minutes to like fully, because you wait in line.
Virtually.
Online.
Yeah, online. That's another weird thing. So in New York, when they say online, they mean like in a line, like an actual physical line, which always throws me. They'll say like, "Oh, I went to this sub shop and I was online for like 15 minutes."
I say that.
You do?
I was online.
Huh? Wait, hold on a second. So if you go to Subway and there's a bunch of people in front of you, you're going online?
I am.
Bro, what is happening right now?
It could be one of those things. I might like switch it depending on like who I'm with.
Sure.
Like if someone says in line in like, and I hear them say it first, then I might say
you might follow behind
in
them.
line. Yeah.
Instead of online?
Yeah.
All right. People in the chat and people, or sorry, I shouldn't say chat. People in the comment section, do your worst. I want to hear what, because we got people all over the world, so I'm curious what other people call it. Leave us a comment in the comment section on the YouTube video. All right, so for those of you who are new, thank you for joining us. This is a podcast all about how to grow your channel and do all the types of things. We're going to answer some of your questions that you have emailed in and text messaged us. Also want to mention the Discord, which is kind of popping off. We announced this a couple episodes ago. There's a link in the show notes and the description. If you have a vidIQ Boost or higher, there's a little private channel in Discord, and we have been inundated with some people in there talking all types of things, which is great. It's lots of fun to see. We see a little bit of growth YouTube and a lot of candy talk. A lot of candy talk.
A lot of candy talk. I mean, the real ones know this is a candy podcast in disguise of YouTube.
It really, really is. We are definitely going to have a candy section at the end of one of these episodes. All right, let's get into some of the questions. The first couple of questions here are going to come from the text message. If you're listening to the audio podcast, you will see a link in the show notes. It says click here to send us a text message, and that's where these are going to come from. So the first one is from a new listener saying, can I get monetized by posting only once a month? I have a statistically insignificant channel.
That is statistically insignificant.
Yeah. That focuses on painting and drawing in the indoors. Channel name is Paint with Pencil. I have a goal of getting monetized, but I've only managed to be able to post once a month on average. Even when I do have extra time, I try to bank my videos and schedule them out in advance so that I have a consistent at least once a month schedule. I know the consistency is important, but is once a month consistent enough? I've been creating for about 3 years now, have about 1,800 subs and 38 long-form videos. I still don't have the 4,000 hours. I'm left to wonder if my lack of watch hours is because of my consistency, the length of the videos, or the size of my niche. I like my niche, so I'm left to wonder if I need longer videos or just more of them. What do you think? I mean, I'm going to give my 2 cents real quick. I'd love to hear what Jen has to say. There's a couple of things about doing once a month. I think you have to put your expectations in line with what you're doing. Essentially, you are putting the success of your channel for an entire year on 12 videos. That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure when you consider some people do 12 videos a month. You are saying, for the entire growth of my YouTube channel for the year, I'm going to put most of that growth on those 12 videos. And I hope that those 12 videos help grow my channel. That's a lot of pressure per video. And what happens if one of the months you're just late or whatever, now it's down to 11 or 10? That's a lot of pressure on 10 videos. But if you're okay with that, because you're just having fun, who cares? But you're asking, like, can I get monetized? Yes, it is possible. Yeah, sure. Totally possible. But
eventually.
The thing about this is, Jen, if you think about it, because it's a rolling 12 months, the 4,000 watch hours, as they continue, as the time period moves, because they're not putting out as many videos, it moves across the videos. So if you have a couple of very popular ones, you might be monetized, and then you might fall below the threshold months later because you're only putting out once a month. It's a very interesting thought.
It is true. It gets complicated when you think of like the rolling timeline, and that's tough. I mean, I am personally a fan of the more content, the better as a smaller creator. I don't think I've ever seen it hurt a creator, a
Right.
small creator, to put out more content, because you need to get better at content in every single way possible. The more content you make, the better you're going to get. And that's why I think you see typically the behavior of channels is that larger creators had a point where they were pumping out content. And now they're putting it out once a week, maybe every other week, because, well, they don't need to, but also the skills that they developed take longer to produce content, and they've really just kind of figured out the video itself. Small creators don't have that luxury, and I just say, get those videos out there. I think the best way you said it, Travis, is like you're competing against someone else who could put 12 videos a month out. And it's not that you're competing with them, because I don't think that's the term, because there is room for everyone on the platform, 1,000%. But when you're looking at like who has a better chance of getting monetized first, I mean, it's probably going to be the person putting out the 12 videos a month.
Yeah, and some people don't have that space in their life to be able to put out a whole bunch of content, and I get that.
I mean, that's nutty, first of all.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. But, I mean, it is what it is. It ends up being a numbers game, and this is part of what that is. So I guess at the end of the day, can you get monetized? The answer is yes, but you need a lot of views per video, a lot of watch time per video. So if you're asking, well, you know, if I need more watch time, then, you know, making sure that your retention is good and then making those videos longer can definitely help that. Live streams might be a good idea too. You said you focus on paint and drawing, so you could live stream the actual painting and drawing as you're making a video and get a couple people to watch here and there, which would help also with your watch time. So different ways of doing it. And at least live streaming, you don't need to edit and all that other stuff. While you're shooting the video for your main, you know, edited content, you could literally be live streaming that. Two birds with one stone. We're going through, just so you know, for everyone who's listening, we got a lot of messages this week. We won't be able to get to all of them in this episode. If I recognize your name from previous emails and stuff, I'm going to skip them this week. We might have you in the next episode. But as we said a couple weeks ago, we're starting to get so many of these that we can't go through all of them. So I'm going to people that I can tell are either new or have not. I don't recognize their name. So here's another one now from Australia, from the Upside Down, which is what I call it. Okay, Jen and Travis, listening to your latest. Team Trend is going to attract the wrong type of audience. And laughing emoji. Bodybuilders will be knocking at your door. All right. P.S. I've finally taken the leap with one-on-one coaching with Tina. In just a couple of weeks, I've been with her. I've opened my eyes like crazy. Big recommend for anyone who's on the fence. Very awesome. Congratulations. And that's one of those things we've talked about recently, like coaching and stuff. So and Tina was on the last episode, so I hope you got a chance to check that out. Here's another one. Hello, vidIQ. Please ignore my terrible spelling. They spelled it with a Q, which is really interesting. vidIQ with a Q, which makes sense. I hadn't really considered it like that. I had been saying crew with a C, but you could use the Q. vidIQ.
Wait, why is everyone else smarter than us?
They're so much smarter than us. They're so creative.
That's like really the question that we need to ask.
How is this a thing? It's ridiculous. They're teaching us. We're not teaching them anything. It's ridiculous.
We work here.
I know. You need a job? What's going on? Okay. Oh, I love this. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh my gosh, imagine if we had a phone, like a radio in, like this turned into a radio style show.
You know, I don't want to spoil plans, but anyway. In fact, y'all inspired me to jump from TikTok to YouTube. Screw shorts, am I right?
What?
We inspired a TikToker to come to YouTube. You got to love it.
Now, my life is complete.
Love it. Anyway, I was hoping y'all could provide tips for a new YouTuber to narrow down where to improve first. I have 4 videos, and I know my first videos are supposed to be terrible. You got that right. My goal was to use analytics to see what needs to be improved first. Hooks, style, content, etc. But with the exception of my first video getting 50 views, I'm getting 0 to 10 views on my other videos and 0 subs, which, by the way, totally normal. I'm making videos to teach beginners how to use AI tools like ChatGPT for productivity and fun. I screen record myself demoing what I'm teaching while I'm talking about it. If I get my subscribers, I get my subscribers will be low because people like searching for certain demos, but I'm confused why I'm getting 0 views. I feel there's potential in the niche, but maybe I'm way off. No, this is a channel about AI, not a channel made using AI. Thank you guys for your time. Podcast is my favorite part of my week. Cheers.
Oh, okay. So it's a channel about AI.
About using AI as a tool, but not made by AI. Yes. Very important because there is a difference there.
Okay.
Interestingly, it
Did
makes
it say
me
what
wonder.
they were using AI for? Like what they're teaching AI for?
It just says beginners to use AI tools like ChatGPT for productivity and fun, which is interesting.
Oh, productivity channel. Love that.
For productivity, that's phenomenal. But here's the thing: and we can't see their channel and stuff, and we don't do channel reviews here. But it would be interesting to understand like how they're packaging their videos. So the 0 view thing, I get it. You got to remember when we launched this channel. We launched this channel without the help of the larger channel, and we sat at 0. We sat on 1 impression for like 3 days across 3 videos. We posted 3 videos right off the bat as we started this channel. 1 impression. Each video got 1 impression for the first 3 days. And we just kept putting out more and more content, and eventually things started catching on. And I think we're at a really good place right now. We average almost half as many views as subscribers, which is amazing. And I think, of course, our subject matter is very focused with a specific group of people that are looking for this content. I think people don't necessarily know they're looking for your content. So, for example, a lot of people looking for jobs, and resume writing is terrible. And some people know, but a lot of people don't know that you can get a lot of help writing your resume through ChatGPT. I'm not saying you should have ChatGPT do all your resume, because if it's too AI-ish, employers find that and they don't like that. However, it can definitely spruce up what you already have. So for me, I might not say something like in my title, how to use AI to make your resume better. I might say something like how to improve your resume 10 times in less than 30 seconds, by tenfold in less than 30 seconds. Or I might say how to get that job you've never been able to get with this one tool, something like that. Get them into the video, have them understand the value of the video and go, oh, okay, I didn't know AI did that. I thought it just made silly fake videos of cats puking on Will Smith's head or something. I don't know, whatever it is.
Obviously.
Obvi.
Well, I like the plays on YouTube where people like compete with AI. So if it's like productivity where it's like me versus AI, like, am I more productive with like my own schedule or my own method and then doing it with AI? Because if you're talking about productivity, you have like a very measurable outcome. Like, did you do it or did you not? How much time did it take? Like, so I love videos like that. I think that's an interesting versus type of video to think about when you're competing against a computer.
Saving time or money is always a winner.
AI. Is
See,
it a
the thing is,
computer?
well, it kind of is. The thing about it is AI has a weird. I'll tell you one thing. So we released in a podcast a couple months back. We talked about AI and stuff. In when I was still taking out short pieces of the podcast and then posting them on the main on this channel, which I still might go back to doing at some point next year. There was a segment about AI, and the conversation in the comments kind of weird because creators feel a very specific sort of way about AI, and it's not necessarily positive. So I get it, and I think that there's some of that you're going to have to fight against, which is why I think when you create this content, you have to be thinking of the larger picture. You're saying you're helping people with productivity, so that's what your channel should be about, productivity. Don't necessarily talk about AI in the context of maybe the title and thumbnail. It's like, what's the end result? What am I winning? Am I saving 30 minutes of my day? That's all I care about. If the tool happens to be AI, okay. But maybe I wouldn't be interested in if you say, here's an AI tool to save your product. Like, it might be like, I'm not into it. But
that's true. You
know what I mean? Just get past the person's, prejudges, their judgmental aspects of what
get to
AI
what they
is.
want.
Right. what they're going to get out of it.
Avi.
Obvi. All right, here's one from the UK. Hey, Travis and Jen and other vidIQ crew. I love you guys, by the way, and your content. Even though I'm new to the podcast, and fairly new to making a thing of YouTube.
Double welcome.
Double welcome. My name is Ben. I'm from England and started a YouTube channel called The Life of Lily and Coco, following the adventures of our two four-legged companions. Oh, love it. Love it. The long-form videos have been mainly about the days out with our dogs and visiting dog-friendly places in the UK. I think that's a cool video channel.
Great idea for the channel.
I love that.
Very clear direction.
Love it. My question, do I carry on with this, improve the content, videos, and frequency of posting? Or do you think I should concentrate on the challenges of owning a dog clipping, behavior issues? That's my conundrum. Probably prefer to do what we're doing now, but I'm keen on growing the channel lots. Thanks in advance. Keep up the awesome work. This is an interesting thing because I think if you're really enjoying what you're doing, do that until you're not enjoying doing it anymore. And you might grow a larger kind of viewership and then be able to do these other things. You know, Jen, it's funny. We were talking right before we went live. And by the time you guys listen to this, this would have already happened. But the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing, you have to remember Jake Paul was a YouTuber. And before that, he didn't even get popular until he was on Vine. And if you think about it, and the same thing with like KSI and even Logan Paul, his brother Logan Paul, who now have like own Prime, which is this one of the biggest drinks in the world, and all this other stuff. All these big things they're doing started from just doing one little thing on YouTube. KSI was like a gamer, I think, back in the day. Mr. Beast was specifically a Minecraft gamer for the longest time, and a gamer in general. Like, but then they grew their content so big that they started, you know, stepping out. I'm not saying all this works for everybody. I'm just saying this is something that has happened. So, keeping that in mind, if you give a lot of value in the thing that you are focused on, then being able to kind of branch out a little bit is much easier. If you try to do it all at once, you might find that things don't work right away, and it might be discouraging to you. And that's always important to remember.
I think that's really good advice. I also think these are, yes, tied together from the dog, but also different interests, because it sounds like one is kind of leaning in the direction of like, where are cool places I can take my dog? And I don't know if that person has necessarily the same interest of how to take care of my dog. I can say that personally. I take my dogs with me everywhere. So I would be very interested in, you know, I intentionally go to breweries and stuff that have dog menus. So
that's cute.
It's adorable. So for people who take their dogs places, those are the things that are going to be interesting. So I do follow and do look for people who also actively take their dogs out and knowing like what are good environments and just like fun things like that. But there would be a very different interest for me for how to take care of my dog, because that I would not find interest in that on the channel. So I think that we're dealing with potentially two different audiences. Yes, both having dogs, but are they going to be interested in each concept wholeheartedly right now as a smaller channel? That I don't know. So I would go with Travis' advice and do what you're doing now. You love it. Go for it. And then a natural pivot will happen as you start to figure out new ideas, get inspired by a new series. It's not something, I think this is something that we should talk about too, because I talk about this with creators all the time. They try to plan their next 5 years on YouTube within their first year on YouTube. Like, this is something, I don't know why, but this is such a normal thing for a small creator where they're stopping themselves from making content they want to watch now because they're not sure if it will align with a pivot that they want to do in 3 to 4 years. And that's no, stop it. Just no. Have you seen this behavior, Travis?
Well, here's the thing. Our audience specifically is interesting because, as we've seen here, and we've seen a couple messages before, we have people that are pre-planning ahead. They're listening to the podcast before they even have a YouTube channel. So we're talking to a very unique group of people, which I love. I think it's difficult to give like blanket advice for a lot of these things, but you're right in that. I love when you said they're trying to figure out their next 5 years in 1 year, in their first year, because this is so true in so many ways, and almost guarantee that for a lot of you, The content you're making now is not the content you're going to be making in a year and a half from now. Not for everyone. I mean, some people you will be. But there's a lot more people listening to this podcast right now that will be doing different content than you are right now in the future. Like, it's just the way it is. So
It's true. It's so true.
Yeah. So to make those solid plans so early in your career, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Enjoy the process early on, because later on, while there still is some joy, there's a lot more not joy. A lot more stress.
That's so true. But things will naturally pivot. You will get better at content. You will have ideas based off of what you're doing well, what performs well. There is like no way to know, because YouTube is still a mystery on the other end. Once you hit publish, goodbye. Everything you have done is now, that's it. It doesn't even matter, because YouTube's going to do what YouTube does. And sometimes it really works out how we think it's going to. And then other times YouTube's like, gotcha. So you can't plan for something that you can't account for. And that is part of this job and just lifestyle on the platform, is there is so much unknown you're dealing with that you could have a video that takes off. You're like, wow, I loved that video. And then you start moving in that direction. I would say like half of the channels that I work with are pivoting, are just pivoting, because they're either not, they're creating things that they started with and they're not really enjoying it, or they've started to experiment with other things and they're like, I don't know what to do. I'm finding success. This is really crazy. This is not what I started doing on YouTube. Should I not be doing this? So it naturally works itself out, but don't not make content because you're fearful of how this will align with your plan in the upcoming future.
I love that. I see that there's 2 other text messages that are from people who have written in before, but they seem to have a similar message, and that is about monetization. I just want to say that at the end of January, we're going to have Justin Moore come on the podcast and talk to us about monetization. And when you talk about someone who knows how to get you paid,
ooh, that man knows.
That man knows. And I also want to make clear that, like, so he's got a book coming out, and that's why he's coming to promote, but he's also going to talk to you about how to make more money than you probably ever thought you can make, no matter what channel size you are. His story is really interesting. He went from like not having very many views and then not understanding how to negotiate contracts or anything. And some people might think, oh, I'm too small for this. You'd be surprised.
Oh, you
Listen
would
to
be
his story.
Shocked. The first time I went through Justin's course, I was dumbfounded. Like, I genuinely just didn't believe
Right.
the numbers that he was saying. But there's proof. There's screenshots.
Jeff,
it's proof.
Jeff from that works here at vidIQ went through his course too and used some of his techniques to make thousands more dollars. And the thing is, crazy amounts of money. The thing is, it's all doable. He'll be here in the end of January. So if you're wondering about like how to make more money on YouTube, especially without AdSense, he's going to blow your mind. And the other cool thing about this is, again, it's going to be on the free podcast. He normally charges like thousands of dollars to be a part of his thing, and he's going to give us some of those tips for free on the podcast. Super excited for that. So
nice.
That'll be in towards the end of January. I know it's a little ways away, but since I saw some of those messages come in about money, I'm like, y'all about to be in for a treat. So if you're here on the YouTube channel, hit subscribe. If you're listening to the audio podcast, you probably already are subscribed, and welcome. We're going to help get you some money. All right. Here we go. All right. Question for the show, New Year's resolutions. Jen and I had talked about New Year's resolutions. We'll be talking about those in the coming weeks.
Why is everyone reading our like minds today?
They really are. Here we go. Hey, Jen, Travis, Rob, et al. I tried to send you a text, but it didn't go through. My name is Jeremy, and I'm trying to grow my photography-centric channel. I have an idea for a video that targets viewers who want to make changes and improvements to their photography skills in the new year. So to ride the New Year's resolution wave of content, of course. When would be a good idea to post a video like this? My hunch is sometime after Christmas, before New Year's, but I'm curious what your advice is. Thanks for all you do. Stay weird. That's like a Portland thing.
It is.
This is a good. Okay, so his content is targets viewers who want to make changes and improve their photography skills in the new year. So kind of a photography channel, but more like how you make better pictures.
How do you jump on this trend of? I think this goes to so much more than just like New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
At what point are you posting content that is specifically with a kind of an end date in mind?
Yeah, right.
When do you post your Christmas video? When do you post your Halloween content? When do you post your New Year's resolutions? I mean, what is the time frame to do before then? When does it
So
go up?
we have a we actually have a tool that helps with this. It's the trend alert option on vidIQ in the tool. But to be honest, like for what you're talking about, I don't even think that it has to be a New Year's resolution. I'm trying to think of how people go and for my New Year's, I'm gonna make my pictures look better. I don't think that's a thing. I think people just naturally want to do that. So I don't think there's like a time limit or time thing. I mean, you could even put in it like how to make your pictures better for the New Year's, but it's not really as catchy as you think it is. Something like how to improve your pictures in 2025 is a little bit more catchy and a little bit more kind of understandable. But that doesn't have anything to do with New Year's. You literally could put that out tomorrow because the thing is, here's a tricky little trick that I've been doing for years.
Oh, a tricky trick?
Tricky trick. Especially if you have evergreen content. Putting something out in the last 2 to 3 months of a year, but naming it the next year works. It works for the end of that year and into that, because you think you're getting extra early content information. Like, this guy's got the future. He's getting me 2025 information, and it's still 2024.
What?
What?
He knows.
And then come January 1st, I'm looking at their YouTube like, they have 2025 information already? Oh my God. So it's overly relevant for a long period of time. And then, you know, depending on the content, and I've done this before on content before, like if it's still evergreen, you can change that number the very next year and be like 2026 content. So, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't wait. I don't think there is a waiting thing for this sort of thing. I think it's just it's a packaging thing. And ensuring that if you're talking about things like how to do it on your phone, which I think is going to give you the most amount of people to watch, because more people use a phone than like a DSLR or something, you know, you can do both. You can put both in the video if you want to. But regardless, like it's all about packaging here. Like, and I think the thumbnail could look something like a really crappy, undersaturated, out of focus video, and then a picture, and then on that same thumbnail on the other side, like before and after, and the after is like a beautiful picture, you know, like how you went through and made it better, something like that.
I like that. I also think of like hobbies, New Year's, so you're starting photography in 2025, content like that. You have to think about, oh my gosh, Travis, I'm going to say it again.
Say it.
Your audience.
Yes.
You have to think about your audience and why is your audience interested in this now? If there is a now,
right,
and you're trying to put a now on it, so what is it? Why?
What is that now?
What is that now? What is that now?
No. Oh my gosh.
For other holidays and things like this, I would go with the same mentality that Travis was talking about. There's almost not too soon. When you're talking about Christmas content, gosh, I mean, we see all of Vlogmas. I've seen Christmas content out for the past, I think I saw the first Christmas video come out 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And you have to think about, when are you going to see that video as a first-time viewer?
Mm-hmm.
As a first-time viewer, it could be 2 weeks later. It could be 1 month later. Like, we're talking about a very wide window of when that content's going to surface to you. So the sooner the better, because 3 days before is not going to make a difference. And then it's just going to feel outdated.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm going to get to the next email here in a second, but I want to mention that every once in a while, I'll see in the comments, we have our intern, what's his name again?
Jeremy
does all the comments on the YouTube channel. And he's always telling us that you guys say, you're always asking for the email address to email us. And I always say to Jeremy, Jeremy, tell them that they just have to listen to the podcast. That's it, because we give the email address out every time. Now, here's why we don't put it in writing. And Jeremy always asks me about
We forbid
this.
Jeremy from doing it. That's why.
First of all, Jeremy, terrible person. So I think it's important to understand why I don't put the email address and why I don't have Jeremy put the email address on any of those things. And that's very simple. Number one, there are crawlers across the internet, and those crawlers look for email addresses and such to put you on spam lists, and then now you get email from everywhere that you never signed up for. That's number one. Number two, we really want to keep the emails to people who are listening to the podcast and, really trying to get value. And if they have a question, we want to answer your guys' question. We don't just want random people who just come across it to email us in, maybe listen for an episode and leave. It's just not the point. If you're in here and you're loving it and you're getting some value out of it and you want to have a question, I'm all about that life. And Jeremy knows that. Okay. So this email went to theboost@vidIQ.com, which is the email address. And the subject matter says, and I mean, let's just be honest, this is probably so accurate that I don't even know that there's a much more accurate subject line in the history of subject lines.
Oh?
Cadbury eggs are delicious. So that is the subject line. Of course, the most truthful
ridiculous. I'm not even going to look at you.
Hey, all you beautiful people. First off, candy corn is amazing. Okay, well, suddenly this email is going down the toilet. Second, Cadbury eggs are the best. Oh, and it's redeemed itself.
Wow.
My favorite ones are the one with the caramel. And he goes back down to the middle. This is my first email to the Boost. Love listening. I don't have a lot of time to listen to podcasts anymore, so I find myself tuning in while cycling. Crazy what age does for you. No more crazy hype musics for cardio. Instead, it's the Boost. I get it. I kind of get it.
Instead, it's the Cadbury eggs getting him through.
All right. My question is related to our YouTube channel. It's called Jeremy Collects, and we started in July of 2023. We're at about 2,400 subscribers and growing. My wife and I mostly do Funko Pop mystery boxes. That's cool. Let's show off our collection. What do you think about branching out to other collectibles? I chose Jeremy Collects so that we're not forced to stick to one thing. But the thought of doing anything else not Funko related worries me. Will it negatively impact the channel to do a few videos unrelated to Funko? We collect a lot of things and want to share our passions. Thanks for all you do, Jeremy and Taylor. I understand this. This is the worry of if I do something, I'm going to break my channel. If you do a couple of other collectibles and they don't perform well, it's not going to break your channel. It's not going to break your channel. Let's break down what actually happens. And then that way you can make your decisions for yourself. Not a bad thing. I think it's a good idea that you made your channel about collectibles. Very smart. As we talked a couple weeks ago about a creator, I said that they should think about nostalgia rather than just retro video games. Like it's the nostalgic thing. And I just realized as I moved my chair up, I also got people talking to me about the creakiness of my chair. Then it's a brand new chair.
What?
In the comment section, they gave me guff about my chair. So you need some WD-40 on it. It's a new chair. It just makes that sound when I move around a little bit.
I like it. It makes you sound like an old man just like settling into your YouTube podcast.
This will be the last episode Jen is ever on. She's just called me old. Jen is no longer.
Like an old man just like creaking in his rocking chair.
Jen 18 is no longer with us. We want to thank her for everything she's ever given us. We appreciate her until she tried to cancel me for being old. Okay. Back to the question at hand. Jen's over here crying, laughing so hard. Back to the question at hand. So I love that you made it collectibles. That's great. I think you can do whatever you want to within that niche. Just understand that sometimes things won't work, and that's okay. But there are channels out there that have the bucket strategy of multiple different things that aren't the exact number one specific thing that channel's about and have success if you have these buckets. Jen helps creators all the time with bucket strategy in her little coaching me. So can you give like a brief description, explanation of what a bucket strategy is and like what it contains?
A bucket strategy, typically you have 3 buckets of content on the channel and they all, fall under this umbrella of your main value. So if you're a food channel, you have this header, which is food. And then your 3 buckets would, of course, all be food related. But the goal is to have these be an idea, a topic, a category, whatever you want to call it, that allows for almost infinite ideas underneath each one. So if we have this food channel, your 3 buckets could look like 30-minute meals, which obviously all of those video ideas would be 30-minute meals, but each video is going to be different because you're changing the meal every single time. The other one could be air fryer recipes or something along the lines of kitchen tools where, again, all the recipes are changing, but you're coming back for the same thing because you want to use your air fryer or whatever it is. And then that 3rd bucket could be, family recipes, maybe something that you're modernizing, just going through traditional family recipes and just cooking them off. And those are all going to be similar. People want to watch similar content. if someone finishes watching a video, chances are they want to watch something very similar directly after. And this is a way to not only control your content and your ideas, because I, for one, fall guilty of pulling ideas out of nowhere and being like, I'm gonna do that. And then you like step back, you're like, that literally makes no sense. That absolutely makes no sense to go on this channel. This allows you to have kind of a checklist of, does it belong? Does it not belong? But also organize your ideas and allow people the opportunity to watch multiple videos because you have them.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
I love it. That's great. And that's a way of thinking about it. And again, you're not going to break your channel by doing a couple of videos just outside of Funko Pops, but just understand and think about, are the things you're going to cover interesting to the people who have come to your channel about Funko Pops? Because there are things similar to Funko Pops you might collect, and those things might do well. If you're way left of center and it's not at all what those same people might like, they might struggle to get the views, and that's okay. Especially if it feels you know, there's this thing about I've changed it to 2 for them, 1 for you. I think originally it was 1 for me, 1 for them, and the concept is you do a couple videos for your audience and then 1 for yourself. And that's just to keep you kind of happy with content creating, knowing that the 1 for yourself may not do so well, but at least it'll be fun to make it and you don't get burned out.
I think for this creator, the concept that they should think about is, why are people watching these videos right now? What is the style of video? Because what you're collecting can swap out. If the style of video, is it a hunting video where you're trying to find these things? Is it a haul video where you're showing off your collection? Whatever that style video is that people are interested in, they'll be interested in similar things. They're watching that style video for a reason. And that's how you branch out. So that's what you need to identify and think about. Keep it the same, just swap out the collectible.
Yeah, that's a great way of thinking of it. All right, this one's about copyright questions. This one's from Tina. Tina says, hello, Travis and Jen. First of all, I love your podcast.
Oh my gosh, Tina.
I've learned so much from you all.
That's
also,
amazing. Oh no.
Cadbury eggs are the best. Sorry, Jen. Candy corn is not. Smiley face. The lines have been drawn. Okay, on to the rest. I have a small channel that is growing. I know people think that I'm making that up. That's literally in the email. I have a small channel that is growing, 730 subs, called Fantastic Footnotes. On this channel, I talk about history, but usually have some sort of strange, forgotten, and paranormal twist. Ooh. My question is about copyright. I see a lot of channels using moving clips or even take parts of the TV shows and turn them into shorts. I've been very careful to only use photos from I get from Pickerel or other sites, but I'm always finding photos and clips I would love to use to make my videos better. Can you talk to some about the rules and others about using other videos on your channel? So we actually have an entire video about this on the main vidIQ channel that Jen and I did. It is, and we took clips from a group coaching session I did with an actual lawyer, actual copyright lawyer, and talked kind of deeply about it. We'll touch on some of the stuff here, but what I'm going to recommend you do, and if I remember, I'll put a link to that video in the description of this video and or the show notes of the audio only podcast. But the long and the short of it is, no matter what you do, you are taking a bit of a risk. Even if you are using things in fair use, that does not mean that you will not get a copyright claim or anything like that. Can you use portions of stuff for fair use? Absolutely. But it does not mean that someone can't copyright claim or strike that channel. So if you go to the vidIQ channel, it's actually not that far back. The video is called Everything You Need to Know About Not Getting a Copyright Claim. It was about a month ago as of the recording of this episode, but I'll try to remember to get a link to that and put it in the show notes. At any rate, you can get away with using, I think in that video, there was like a couple of seconds thing, like 4 to 6 seconds or whatever is for best practices. Anyway, it's in that video. So again, I would just say, just know that no matter what you do, even if you follow every single guideline known demand, it does not mean that it won't get clipped at some point and won't get, a claim. A claim is not the end of the world. Jen, I think, has a million claims.
I love to collect them.
She
I just
collects
shut
them
my
like
mouth
cards.
when it comes to copyright advice. I just don't speak.
She's like, look, I got a lot of claims. I don't think I can give you any advice on this.
I've just come to accept that I'm not going to be paid from YouTube.
So I did figure out a while back, though, actually a couple of years ago, I did figure out like about how much of a song you can play without getting copyright claimed. I figured this out because I was using little sound bites during my live streams whenever someone would give me a super chat. I had these fun little, I think I might even have it on my soundboard. Let's see. Do I have one here? Let's see. No, I don't think I do. Oh yeah, I do. So here's one. Here's one. So I would play that when someone would send a super chat. It was kind of fun. People like that. I have a whole, actually, just not just that one, but multiple. But I found out that length does not get copyright claimed automatically by the system. If you go an extra, I think it was 2 seconds, because I was trying it at different lengths, it gets claimed. But that much works. And I did that with every single soundbite I had. I would go in, I would do an unlisted video, and I'd put all the sound bites there at different lengths, and I'd wait to see if they got claimed. If it got claimed, I would trim a second off, and then I knew that, you know, what the thing was. Now again, that's for music. Video might be slightly different. Can you get away with it? Yes. There are plenty of channels who do. The thing is, you don't know if those videos have been copyright claimed. That's the one thing you can't tell as a viewer. So even if you see another channel using longer periods of music and or video, does not mean they're not copyright claimed. They actually might be.
True.
So yeah, just use as little as possible while getting your point across. Hopefully that helps.
Plus, you just upload it unlisted and you see your claims. It's not like you have to upload the video, publish it, and then it comes in. Like, you know. And if you wanted to, you just take it down and edit it again.
Yeah. Okay. This next message.
Oh, God.
From
I don't like your face right now.
Because I just read the first sentence. And I about fell out. The subject matter is called Help. Hi, friends. I recently discovered your podcast and have been binge listening.
Oh!
Which is amazing.
Gosh, binge listening to a podcast. That just, like, blows my mind.
While binge eating Cadbury cream eggs, which are honestly not my favorite, but nowhere near candy corn on the list of nasty candy.
Gosh darn it. We're going to run some type of contest to mail out, like, prizes, and it's going to be a box of candy corn for all of you.
Oh my God. Oh, I also have a fledgling little YouTube channel in which I visit obscure historic sites in my area and tell their stories. Kind of like educational vlog, I guess.
I love Atlas Obscura.
Oh,
It's a book.
that's a big channel. Oh no, that's a book? I thought it was a channel.
Well, I suppose it's both, but they're books.
Oh,
I'm sure it's the same concept.
okay. My initial idea, well, I should probably say that right now. I haven't read the email, so I might actually say that. My initial idea for this channel was to advertise a consulting business I am trying to get going, showing off different types of projects I'm interested in taking on, and the unique set of researching skills I have. I'm only a handful of videos in with 11 subscribers, but I'm worried about balancing creating content for entertainment and educating versus advertising my business, which is looking for clients. How would you recommend finding the balance? I haven't even mentioned that I have this business because I'm worried about putting an ad into my videos so soon. Okay.
I feel very confused.
So here's where I'm confused. So he has this historic, he goes to obscure historic sites and tells their stories.
Which is super cool.
That's super cool. A consulting business I'm trying to get going, showing off type of project I'm interested in, but I don't, and the unique researching skills I have. I don't understand the connection there. Are you using, I assume you're using the unique researching skills you have in these videos you're making, and that would be the tie, I guess.
To find the places?
I guess. So I don't want to give too much like straightforward advice here because we only kind of understand what you're trying to do. When I read the email, it sounds disjointed. So if it is disjointed, I would definitely say that your expectations of success for the quote ad that you're basically sponsoring yourself, which I think is a great idea, may be like lower because your audience has to match your business. If what you're saying is that you're literally using the skills that you are, as a consultant would use for someone, they might want them, that's great, because then they can see the proofs in the pudding, right? That's awesome. But again, I would then still say, if you think about who's watching that content, they might be watching historical content just because they're like history, right?
Yeah, history
But do they
buffs.
necessarily need your service? So what would make more sense potentially is, let's say so he says he has like unique skills for researching things. What would be an instance where you would want to hire someone to give you like, well, I'll tell you one thing I can think of right now, like figuring out who's your family members are or where they are.
I was
or something
going to say
like that.
stalking your ex, but
You
same
could
thing.
say that as well. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah, same
So
direction.
I guess you can make a video about stalking your ex. Don't do that. But
No, do that. It'll get a lot of views.
it will get a lot of views. But
My consulting skills to stalk your ex.
oh my God, we're gonna get canceled. I think but the point is valid. Like what she's saying isn't completely wrong. I'm not saying to do a video about stalking ex, but the idea is the same. Someone who would watch that might want to actually stalk their ex, so they might want that service, right? So don't stalk your ex. Let's just be 1,000% sure. Don't do that.
Stalk anybody.
But
But show us how.
but show us how. Just don't tell nobody else. It's important for you to understand that, like, when someone's watching YouTube, they're not 9 times out of 10, they're not really looking to buy or purchase or take part in anything unless they have a problem that previously exists. So if they're
Yeah.
watching your content and they're just trying to be educated about something, it's unlikely that they're looking for a consultant unless you're making some type of video that makes sense for that to be advertised against.
I like what you said there. I think that's often an expectation of people coming on the platform to grow their business.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
There's nothing wrong with that, but the expectation is that people typically come on YouTube for entertainment or to find an answer for something.
Yes.
And they're not looking to hire their accountant on YouTube
Right.
or something.
Right.
I mean, that's not the behavior. If someone reaches out and you end up doing work for them, that's typically how I've seen it go down for channels like that. I think you're better off at just making a good YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Think about it like this, Jen.
This
You
is
and
the
I,
hard truth. This is the hard one that a lot of people need to hear.
you're 100% right. Because here's case in point. Even though we are attached to a 2 million subscriber vidIQ channel, we do most of our work here on the smaller channel. But I guarantee you, just based off the work we've done here on this podcast, Jen and I could literally go out and start a YouTube. Well, we probably wouldn't be allowed to, but if we wanted someone to, if we wanted to say, hey, we can help you grow your YouTube channel, people are based off the work we've done here on this channel would be like, yeah, well, I would pay you to help me fix my YouTube channel. I guarantee that. So it's because of the work is directly relevant to what the service we would be trying to sell is that would make that a successful venture.
Yes.
So just remember that when making your content, that if it make sure it's aligned with whatever your business is.
Yes. How I saved $6 million on my taxes this year
It's not paying them.
Is it? Well, the viewer doesn't need to know that. But that can definitely convert some sales and funnel some business leads. But that is still that is making a YouTube video.
Yeah.
That is 100% making a YouTube video without that in mind. I guess what we're trying to say is just stop trying to sell stuff on YouTube. No, just make the good videos first. When you make good videos, you'll be recognized for what you're good at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this next email is one we actually answered on a previous episode, so I'm going to delete that. That was from Ren. I think we answered your email in the last episode, Ren, so there you go. And we'll pick one more for this episode. Actually, I'm going to, oh my gosh. So in Gmail, you can see the first couple of words of an email. All right, I'm going to pick this one just because of that. And I don't recognize the name from like having previously emailed us. This is from David. Hiya, Travis and Jen. Or Beauty and the Beast. You can figure out which is which.
That was rude. I don't want to be the beast.
And it continues, or Travesty and Jenga.
Ooh. We both fall down.
We both That's travesty because it is listen, here you go. Travesty because it's a travesty when you're not on the show. And Jenga, because as a coach, what Jen does is take the bricks out of YouTube channels and sometimes they fall down.
Hold on, let me just update my resume real quick.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for the podcast.
That was
It's amazing.
great.
That was good. Thanks so much for the podcast. It's an amazing resource, particularly for new YouTubers like me. My question is this. I'm starting a body transformation program and want to do a channel charting my progress.
Love.
Probably doing one video a week covering diet, exercise, motivation, lifestyle changes, etc., with video updates on how I look. Love that. It will be 5 months long with a significant weight loss of about 70 pounds. I'm 56. Okay, so an older guy, so it won't be easy. But it would be of interest to a lot of people over 40 who are struggling with weight. Hello, raising my hand. At the end of 5 months, I will continue the channel with different challenges to come with maintaining weight, health, fitness into old age. But I heard on podcasts that people who would watch someone transferred would not necessarily be the same audience who would watch someone maintain. Thoughts? That's an interesting. That's an interesting thing. So I actually have made a video about this on a smaller channel that I was playing around with about 2 years ago, where I tried to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. That's still one of my favorite videos because I actually just watched it recently because I'm going back through more weight loss stuff right now. And I wanted to remind myself of what that was like when I did that challenge. I think it's really interesting. First of all, I love that. I think most people like that. I think the thumbnail of, before and after always works for weight loss. But his comment at the end is really interesting. And I think it's correct that the people who would be into the weight loss part, which is probably a lot of people, are not the same people that are interested in the maintaining. I think that's true. I think a lot of people want to lose weight and they just think that once it's gone, they don't gain it back. So they may not be watching the maintaining part. I think that's boring. They want to see the transformation because it's interesting.
It is interesting. However, I remember a creator back in the day that I would follow, who just used that to her advantage for every single video. It was always framed like a weight loss video. It would be what I'm eating after my 70-pound weight loss. So it was always evident that she had lost 70 pounds. It was never super clear, like, was it for, I mean, in the video itself, it was clear, but it wasn't like how I'm maintaining my weight right now. It was always like, this is about my lifestyle after losing an extreme amount of weight.
Basically, it comes back to packaging again, which we keep
does it
bringing up.
ever? You better believe every single video that girl ever uploaded had a before and after photo on it. It didn't matter. It'd be a meal. She'd be like meal prepping, and she'd be like before and after.
It works.
Oh, it worked. Her channel blew up. Now I think she popped up. I was on like an old account doing something, and she popped up, which is probably why it's on my mind. And I think she's like building some off-grid cottage or something now. Like I have no idea, but. I mean, she built her audience, and she has a core audience that'll like ride with her through that, and she had her time to shine.
I would also lean into the age thing. You said over 40, which is great. I think you're exactly right. People of a certain age do, especially with health things. I'm dealing with some health things related to weight and other things, and I think it's really important that people that are looking for that sort of, even if they're not looking for it, maybe it's something that actually is real in their life, and it just comes across their recommendation. They might watch it because like, oh, I'm going through that same thing. The easy way to connect with people. And I think I've seen a lot of channels with older YouTubers, anything over like 50 and stuff do very well because it's an underserved market. People think YouTube is just for the youngins. It's not true. It's for everybody. So I would lean into all of that. And I love the whole idea of like taking it across. And I think what you do is after because you're going to do it from the beginning to the end. I think from the beginning to like when you've lost the 70th pound, obviously you'll have all those videos between, but then to do a compilation video that's something that can be edited down to like a 10-minute video that someone who didn't see all of that can watch it in one shot and go, oh, I'm invested in this person because that's super cool. And if I really want to see the details of what happened, I can go back individually and watch those videos from the months in between. Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
I mean, there's like countless videos you can make after that.
Oh,
like it's literally like an endless list. Definitely look into creators. I think advice for packaging is don't try to play the young game. Make thumbnails that are going to appropriately fit an older audience.
Yeah.
Don't, look at the 30-year-old girl, or I don't know how old she is, that I'm talking about, and be like, I'm making my thumbnails like that. Like, definitely do the research and see what an older audience is actually clicking on and attracted to.
Yeah, I love it. Well, that was a great episode. We got a lot of things going on. The end of the year is, I'm just talking about this at the beginning. We're in the middle of November as we record this.
That's insane. That's insane.
So the way this is going to work is we're going to have a couple weeks with 2 or 3, I think, because of what we've already shot for next week, plus what I'm going to record tomorrow with Rob, and we'll probably have 3 videos, this week when you're listening to this. But then as we get towards the end of the year, we'll probably have a little bit less and less. And then the last 2 weeks or so of the year, we'll probably only have 1 or 2. And then we're gonna kick off 2025 and really kick it in next gear. But if you really are less like, you'd love to be a part of this community, I'm telling you, the Discord is popping off. Again, don't be discouraged if you've never used Discord before, or if you have and you've had a bad experience. That is not what you're going to experience here. We have a great community. And again, we have this channel specifically for the listeners. So if you don't want to engage with the rest of, the Boost Discord, you can just go right in and snuggle in with the rest of what we're talking about, candy and all the things we talk about on the podcast. We actually have one of the creators in there was talking about some strategy they're doing and seeing how it's going to pan out. And that's cool to watch too, and to give your own feedback and maybe ask questions and stuff. So if you're really obsessed with this show and all the things we talk about, you can get more of us over there in Discord. Link is in the description on the YouTube channel and in the show notes on the audio podcast, of course, if you are a Boost member or above. And there will be Black Friday sales on that, by the way. So if you're like, I don't know if I can afford it. Well, Black Friday's right around the corner, so you can probably afford what we're probably going to be selling it for. So something to think about. All right, Genzo. We got one more thing to do here, which is we got to talk about like a video or something that we've watched. Or that.
Oh, my goodness. It's been a while.
It's been a minute, so we got to do it. Let's see if we can pull one up here. Pull up
wow.
YouTube. Well, I'm already going to...
What are you going to say?
I'm going to tell you something and I haven't even watched it yet. I already know it's going to be something I'm going to enjoy.
Oh, you're talking your watch later list?
No, I'm actually talking about a video that's come out, I think, since we started recording this podcast. Because I already know I'm going to love it. Casey Neistat just put out something because he never puts out stuff anymore.
Whoa.
So I already know I'm going to love it. I'm going to tell you right now, it's called Do Hard Things.
Ooh.
Do Hard Things. And he just did like a marathon or something. So I already know what it's about because he talked about it in his last video. I love Casey Neistat. I think he's incredible in so many ways. I've messaged back and forth with him a little bit here and there. And I want to interview him someday. And I hope to get an opportunity to do that. He said yes, but I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I want to do it on...
Right.
To be honest, I want to do it myself. But there is a world where it would almost make sense to have him here. I don't know. He's a very busy guy. But I'm going to take whatever I can get from him because I think he's a phenomenal creator. And if you have never heard of Casey Neistat before, definitely go on YouTube and watch some of his content. He's a phenomenal storyteller. And if you want to learn how to tell stories, Casey's a master. What about you? What have you been watching?
Last night was on a binge session of catching up on Nerd Forge.
Oh.
Yeah. I love her. I guess it's more of like them lately because her fiance is like pretty heavily involved in the channel. I just love that channel. I probably watched like 6 episodes last night.
So give people who don't know what it is, give a kind of an idea of what the channel's about.
Nerd Forge, she builds a very extravagant, last night I was watching room transformations, cosplay outfits, very whimsical, very she was building PCs and stuff, so it's definitely a gamer world, but she's been doing these house transformations, and she did her kitchen as a post-apocalyptic kitchen in the 50s. Wow. It was epic. She like rusted it out and stuff. Oh, it was so cool and just such a fun channel. But I mean, each video they were saying it takes 5 weeks just to get the project done itself.
Oh my gosh.
And then, plus you're talking editing stuff. So it's like, it's big jobs
it's a big
going
project
on over there. Yeah.
My gosh. Well, so make sure you check out Nerd Forge and or Casey Neistat or both. We can no longer get Cadbury eggs, so I feel like, and can you even get candy corn off season?
I don't know. I have mine saved.
Okay, double gross.
I'm just looking in the Discord right now and looking at someone who posted a selfie with candy corn.
Yeah, I saw that. It's quite the little area over there.
I'm telling you, everyone, you're missing out if you're not in the Discord. I don't even know how to use Discord. I just like pop it and type and
Right.
hope I'm doing it right.
She's like, I'm not the boomer. Okay. All right. Now I can teach you things. All right, Gen 18. All right, everyone. We appreciate you greatly, and make sure you hit those links in the show notes and or the video description. We thank you for joining us, and we are very blessed to have you here. We are super happy to serve you every week here on Tube Talk /The Boost /Travis and Jen Candy Podcast.
We got
Here we
you.
go.
That is statistically insignificant.